Okay, so let me just continue this. Okay, the survey we have done just now, so I think we did that already. Okay, so counting down, I just want to highlight so that you are all aware. Okay, so today's day is 3rd of June, Thursday. So we have about 2.5 months before we start the prelim. Prelim important, don't take it as just prelim because we don't know really how the pandemic is going to pan out. So I hope that we can still continue to take the exams as per normal. But worst case scenario, if let's say we really cannot take the prelim exam, or cannot take O-level exam, prelim results is important. Okay, so it starts from 23rd of August. Okay, 4.5 months more before we start off O-level. So the O-level's first date is 20th of October. Okay, this is the tentative date that is given to us. Of course, if we break it down of 20 weeks, which is 4.5 months, right? If you have 6 subjects, we are looking at about 3 weeks per subject to revise all the Sec 1 to Sec 5 topics that you have learned so far. Okay, so we are that sensing. So we don't have a lot of time. I should have ample of time. Just nice. You need to start looking now, basically. Okay, so today's objective is really to go through media paper 1 and go through quiz 1 and quiz 2 that I've given you as homework. Okay, so I'll go through only the selected question. I hope that we can have enough time to go through the paper 2. Then after that, of course, we'll practice question on the paper topics. For those who think that those questions I'm going through, right, you are really clear or you got this correct, what you can do is you can start doing the homework question. Please go to the Google Classroom, download the question. This is a 2017 media paper from Riverside. Okay, so those who can, you can do concurrent. That means while I'm going through some questions, those questions you can do, right? You continue your assessment assignment. Okay, so a few things that I want to highlight. Okay, teachers can open the door, but you must enter it yourself. Basically, you must no matter how hard I try, you must try on your side also. Seek help. Okay, to accept the help that whoever wants to help you. Okay, not just teacher. In fact. Okay, so of course, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. Okay, so it's basically depending on your own determination, your own willingness. No one can force you if you really don't want. Of course, this one is something similar on a similar point. Successful and unsuccessful people don't vary much in the ability, but they vary greatly in their desire, their willingness. Okay. And of course, last point, push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Okay, so these are a few things that let's remind one another during this period of time. Okay, so flow is, I think I overrun for the check-in. Now it's supposed to be 10 minutes, but it's already 10:17. So the remaining time is going through paper 2, then doing of homework and assigning of homework. Then after that, you can continue to do some of the questions, okay, from the Google Classroom, which is I label as quiz 3. Okay, guideline, please on your video, mute with your speaker. If you have any question, like some of you do, you can just on your mic and turn on the mic and ask any question and stop me. If I make any mistakes, you let me know also. I'll be asking some of you to question in the midst of similar to last lesson. So prepare to answer my question. Okay, so chat function is on. Once again, if you have anything you want to ask me, you can please let me know. And when you're doing the quiz, okay, one thing that I think most of you did correctly, scan to PDF and submit to the Google Classroom, Google Drive. Attendance will be taken. I can retrieve the report, so don't leave halfway. I hope nobody will for this group of students who are here now. Okay, and one more thing that I want to highlight will be there will be some information be given through WhatsApp, so I need you all to respond. Thank you for the nice students who responded for my previous ask you all to fill out some forms in the asking you all to put WhatsApp. Only 9 responded now. Okay, so I really don't want to call you all one by one to disturb you all, but try to watch out for my message. I try not to message too much, okay, unless there's really a need to. And of course, a new channel. I think some of you visited and watched some of the video. I'll be uploading solutions over here. So please put it in your favorite link or keep it somewhere, subscribe it. Any new videos, you will get a notification. Okay, so then you can look through at the home page, okay, on some of the questions. Okay, so today's homework, I'll be putting in, I have put in already. So submit by 8th of June, before 8th of June. Okay, so any question? All good? All right, good. So once you're ready, we're going to get started. I'm going to just stop share this. I'm going to start using my iPad to share screen so that I can go through the exam paper. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Okay, so I hope your exam paper is with you now. Okay, so the question we're going to go through is a selected question that is not so well done. So I will be going through, first one will be question number 2. But if you really have some questions that you want me to go through, you just jump in and let me know. Like for example, sure, can I go through question 1E or 1C or whichever that is? Okay, just let me know. Is it okay? Okay, so question 2. Okay, so this is one of the questions that wasn't done, not very well done. So inversely proportional. So this is a topic that we have not really revised. Inversely proportional is, let's say, it's like this: x is inversely proportional. This is the symbol. It's k over square of y. So this is what we need to write. So k equals to k over y squared. This is inverse. When it's directly proportional, it will be like this: x equals to y squared. Okay, the key thing I want to highlight is you must read the word. There's a square of y, so therefore you must put a square there. Okay, some of you might have made the mistake over there without putting the square over there. Okay, so okay, that's one. Okay, so inverse is k over. Okay, so what we need to do is, once we got this, we just substitute inside the value. So what is given is y is here, so y and x is here. So x is 2 equals to k over 5 squared. So k will be equals to 50. Okay, k equals to 50 is not completed yet. So what we have found k already, right? We just need to put it inside the equation. Inside the equation and replace the k with a 50. So this is your equation. X equals to 50 over y squared. So now the next part of the question is they want to find x when y equals to half. So what we need to do is sub y equals to half into this equation. Let's see the equation 1. So therefore x will be equal to 50 over half squared. And that will give you, you just press calculator, x will become 200. Okay, so this will be for the first part, 2A. All right, so those who got it wrong, you can, I'm videoing this. So if I'm going, I will tend to go a bit fast. So the whole idea is not just to copy down, but try to understand. Okay, I'll upload the video. I will send the video link in the Google Classroom so that you can go back and check one more time if, let's say, you are not too sure. Okay, so for part 2, this is the one that is slightly harder. So a change in y produced in a change in x. So now the new value of y is multiplied by 2. Okay, the value of x changed by a factor. Okay, so there's one cheat method that you can use. I'm going to share the cheat method first so that you have a clearer idea. So maybe what we can do is let the original y equals to 5 and x equals to 2. This is what is given earlier, am I right? Okay, we just use this value. Okay, so now the new value, new y, will be equals to, because it's multiplied by 2. So what is the new y? So y will be 5 times 2, which is 10. So now we want to find out, so now the y is changed because it's multiplied by 2, it's increased by 2. So what's our new x equals to? So how do we find that? So we just need to find by substituting the value into the equation again, this equation 1. So sub inside here. Therefore, x will be equal to 50 over 10 squared, which it becomes 50 over 100, which is equal to half. Okay. So now, so this is the new X. So what's the factor? Okay, I think many of us are very confused by this. It came by a factor. So factor is, this is original X is 2. The new X is half. So what multiply 2 multiplied by what number give you a half? So the factor is 1/4. So this is the factor. Okay, so I repeat that again. This portion, I'll zoom in. Original value is 2. Now the new value is half. Okay, so to get there from the new original value to the new value, we just need to multiply by 1/4. Okay. Another way is we use the factor equal to the new value divided by the original value, which is equal to half divided by 2, which is 1/4. Okay, so this is how we find the factor. Okay, so I hope I'm not going too fast, but if I'm going too fast, please let me know. I can put up the chat. Okay, so I'll put up the chat at the side so that if you do have any question, you just text in the group chat in the Zoom as well. I'm reading that. Okay. Okay, for part B, I'm going to just run through a quick one also. So first thing first, how we need to differentiate, is it a simple interest or compound interest? So in this case, okay, we can see the word compound interest over here. So when you see the word compound interest, quite straightforward, it's going to be a compound interest. Okay, so compound interest, the formula, both formulas, okay, in fact, for the formula for the compound interest, if I'm not wrong yet, that's the formula over here. Okay, do remember the formula that you need to memorize will be the simple interest, which is I equal to P RT over 100. So this is the simple interest. Compound interest is given in the exam. Okay, so I hope that you have made use of that for this question. Okay, so compound interest. So the formula A equals to P times 1 plus I over 100 to the power n. I'll run through a quick one. P is the principal amount. Okay, principal amount, which is the original amount. I is the interest rate. Okay, so in this case, interest rate will be 3%. So it's this. The n will be the number of compounding period. What is this? It's not always depending on number of years. If let's say they are compounded half yearly, then you have to see how many half years are there. If they compound yearly, you have to see how many years are there. If they compound monthly, you have to see how many months are there. Okay, so it's based on number of compound periods. Okay, so in this question, so let's put in everything over here. So what is A? A is the total amount. Okay, so we have the total amount. This is what we have. In fact, the P is the one that we are supposed to find, because they want to find the amount of Noah, if I can pronounce it correctly, the person invested. We have the interest rate. Okay, it's given. Okay, so we have the interest rate for 3%, and we also have the number of compound period, which is 4 years. Okay, so in this case, all we need to do is just substitute everything inside. So A is 31514.25. P is the one that we don't know. The I we have at 3%, so it's 3 over 100. The number of years compound is 4. Okay, so with this information, how do we find P? P is just divide this whole thing. Divide across. we'll get the answer, and the answer is 2800.00, nearest 10. Okay, so this is a question that I think generally okay, but there are many of you put as 3xx. Okay, for money, please remember that we need to put as 2 decimal place, right? Okay, moving on. Okay, matrix question. The initial part, I think generally well done based on the market report. Okay, so it's the question that is probably a 3E that has not very well done, which is over here. Okay, so the discount matrix that we have to do over here is, okay, when we have 15% discount, 15% actually is 0.15. Okay, when we convert to decimal. So when we have 15% discount, that basically they are paying for 85%. They are paying. So when we are paying for 85%, we convert to decimal, it will be 0.85. Okay, so let's say original, just an example, if let's say original is $10, okay, let's say I now have 15% discount. So how do we find what's the new value? All I need to do is $10 times 0.85. That will give us $8.50. So that's how we find the amount that we need to pay after discount. Okay, so this is just example. So in this question, what we need to do is so 10% discount is actually 0.1. That means they are paying 90%. Okay. So 90% means it's 0.9 in terms of a decimal place. So all we need to do is the discount matrix will be equal to 0.85, 0 and 0 and 0.9. Why do we have this kind of matrix? We have a 0 there. So if you realize we need to just multiply to the correct matrix. So the previous part, the answer for 3C answer, the value is 100 and 184. So these two numbers are the amount of money that they are paying. Okay, no, they are the amount of the price of the parts and this is the part, all the whatever purchase they have, basically $100 and $184. So all we need to do is we have to multiply by this matrix. Why we place in this manner? First thing, this is a 1/2 matrix. So the matrix that we are supposed to come up with must be a 2/1, because our final answer must be a 1/1. Right, this is a 2/2. Our final answer must be a 1/2 answer, because we have 1, 2 answer with after the discount. We need to have these two values. Okay, so therefore we must have a value over here and a value over here with 2 zeros at the side. Okay, so therefore when we multiply, we are multiplying the correct order. So 100 times by 0.85, that will give you the 15% discount. And if you multiply by the second row, okay, effectively we are using 184 times by 0.9 volume. Okay, so therefore the answer will be 85 and 165.6. Okay, for those who are not too sure my explanation for this part, don't worry, I will find some questions and we'll go through again, okay, and explain in more detail. All right, so this is for 3E. Okay, let me, anyone still need to take down? Okay, so far so good. Okay, I will continue. Okay, so for question number 3B, sorry, the graph question 4D. Okay, so like I was going to just briefly sketch it out using the graph over here. Okay, I've not drawn up, so it looks something like this. It's going to be a very rough sketch. So bend over here, touching this point, and go down, after that, go up at about 4, and the graph looks all the way up. Okay, so the question I want to go through will be for question 3D first. 3D, which is by drawing a tangent. So anyone, if you are not too sure how we do this, okay. The first thing is they give us the information of the point. The point is 40. So the point is 40. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to that point 40, which is right over here. This is the point 40. So all we need to do is we have to go there and draw a tangent. So how do we draw a tangent? Let me get a ruler. Okay, tangent will be basically drawing a line that looks something like this. Touching just one point, and supposedly the angle is about the same on both sides. Okay, so by drawing this, you're going to get 1 mark. Okay, you're going to get 1 mark for just that. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is identify any 2 points that easily can take the value easily. Okay, then after that, you can measure calculate the gradient. So let's say this is, for example, this is 3, minus 2.5. You just write down the coordinates, and after that, you write down a coordinate here for either 5.1, 3. So with these 2 coordinates drawn out, okay, you can use the formula gradient equals to y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2 and find your gradient. Okay, so this is an example how we draw for 3D. Can I just show of hand? Just show of hand. Who got this question correct? I'm going to look at the screen of your faces. And who got this question correct? Can put up your hand. 3D. Who else? Wei Hong. The rest didn't get it correct. Okay, so can. So that means that's the reason why I'm also going through this. So this is all you need. You might not get full marks. Maybe you get 1 mark for the gradient. You must at least get that. Accuracy is not easy to get. Okay, thanks for highlighting. Anyone cannot hear me, you must let me know. Let me just put my mic right on the top of my mouth. Okay, can you hear clearer now? Okay. Can I? Okay, I'll take it as it's okay. Okay, we will continue. Okay, for second question that I want to go through will be 4P. This is a very typical question, and this usually have quite a high weightage in terms of the marks itself. So how do we solve this type of question? I think I've gone through with my class last year when we are preparing for N-level. So when you have this type of equation, all we need to is to link back the original equation. So what's the original equation that's given? Okay, the original equation is, you can see that is y equals to 1/5 x cubed minus 4 over 5 x squared. And let's do a quick comparison. So our objective is to replace this, whatever that's have over here, okay, with a y. So first thing is over here, this equation is quite straightforward. So this portion of it is exactly the same as this equation. Am I right? So from here, all we need to do is just replace this with a y. It's y minus 2 equals to 0. And therefore, bring over the 2, so it equals to y equals 2. And so this is your straight line that you need to draw. Okay, so this is the original. I want to repeat again. So how do we do this whenever we see this type of question? First, compare this equation that is given over here with the original equation. Okay, we need to change to exactly the same. Once you find the exact same equation that you can find for the equation of the graph, you replace that part of it with a y. Okay, so replace that equation with a y. Once you got that, then you just make it into an equation of a line. So in this case, the line of the equation is quite straightforward. It will be just y equals to 2. All right. So once you got this, all you need to do is you have to go to the graph, which I will bring over here. You have to plot the line y equals to 2, which is this horizontal line. And after you plot this y equals to 2 line, you need to find the intersection point. Okay, not the point, rather the x value. Okay, so when you draw this, then you have to draw the dotted line down, and find what is this value that you are supposed to, or otherwise the value that's going over here. And that should be your answer. Okay, so your answer is to be ranged from 0.5 plus minus 0.1. That's the acceptable range. Okay, so this is how we actually solve this part of the question. Okay, that will be 4E. So let me take a look. Any questions with regards to this? Okay. Okay, so I will take it as all understand this part. Okay, so we're going to move on. Okay, for question 5. Question 5 is the one that requires a bit of sine rule, cosine rule, and also a bit of, yeah, in fact, it's not really about volume and surface area, but it's more of the trigo question. So now, okay, the very first part, 5A. So what we need to do is we have to identify which area are we looking at. So AB, BC, and AF. So all information is given. So we are supposed to find angle ABF. So ABF is this angle over here, the one shaded over here. So first thing I would want to do is I redraw the triangle so that I can just focus on that part. And this is the isosceles triangle that's given to this A, with F, this is B. Okay, and the 3 mark, 3 PM, this is 8 PM, and therefore this is 8 PM. We want to find the angle. Okay, so in a triangle, we have 3 lengths. We want to find an angle. So always remember when you have this kind of triangle, what are the formulas that come to your mind? Number 1 is sine rule. The second one is cosine rule. Okay, the Picasso, and so, or even the Pythagoras theorem, all these we cannot use because this is only for right angle triangle. I think I mentioned that the last lesson. Okay, so for this one, it only boils down to just either sine rule or cosine rule. So let me just let me go out for a while before I come back. Okay, so in this case, how do we determine whether sine rule or cosine rule? So to use sine rule, we must have a pair. Pair meaning to say we must have one angle and one length. One length. So if you don't have angle and length pair, you cannot use it. So in this case, there's no angle at all. So of course, the next thing we can do or we need to do is to use the cosine rule. So quick recap, cosine rule is a squared equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. So this formula is given at the start of the front of the paper. So how do we identify the A, B, and C? Sorry. Yeah, cosine A. So the triangle, if this is the angle A, the opposite one will be your A, and the other two will be B and C. Okay, so now we have the, looking back over here, the angle we want to find also along this here. Yeah. Okay, the angle that we are finding, okay, will be this angle. So I will let this angle be A. Okay, then after the opposite length will be our length A. The other two will be B and C. Okay, so how do we put in the formula? So it will be C squared equals to B squared will be 8 squared plus 8 squared minus 2, 8 times 8. Cosine A, which is the one that we are finding. Okay, So this part, there is one that some people will make a mistake, will be this. Okay, so over here, you need to find, I'll write it over here, it's not enough space. So it will be 9 equals to 54 plus 64 plus 2 times 64 cosine 8. So to do this is actually 9 minus 64 divided by 2 times 64 equals to cosine 8. So this whole thing we have to split. Therefore, we are dividing this. Okay, I want to highlight this important part. This is a very common mistake that people make for cosine. Okay, so so we have to bring over across the b and c square and minus them, and after that divide by the 2 bc. Okay, then finally we do the cosine inverse. Cosine inverse, which is 119 over 128. Then A will give you 31.6 degrees with a 1.1 degrees. And so, okay. Once again, show of hand who have gotten this correct. Anyone? A few of you. Okay, so don't get too worried about it. Like big question you can't remember. So you just have to make a best guess. Okay, because we are finding an angle in a triangle. Angle in a triangle. So the whole idea is we want to make use of this. Okay, so either it's a cosine rule or a sine rule. Okay, it's either a cosine rule or sine rule. Okay, that we can use for this particular question. Okay, next, moving on. We are supposed to find the volume of the prism. The volume of the prism is actually base area times height. Whenever we have finding the volume of the prism is always the cross-sectional area, if you want to call that, or base, some people call it base area, multiplied by the length. So in this particular case, so the prism, to solve the prism, volume of the prism, we need to find the area of the triangle. Then multiply by the length itself. So I'll call this a base area, and this is the so-called the height, or you can call it the length. So in this case, the area of a triangle, how do we find the area of triangle? In this case, it will be half AB sine C. Okay, so half AB sine C. So for this particular triangle, how do we identify the A, B, and C? So we must have an angle. Angle, if this is the angle C, then A and B will be at the side. Okay, so this is how we apply for area of a triangle. The length will must be the two lengths and one angle in the middle. So it will be half times 8 times 8 sine C, which is the angle that we have found just now, 21.6. Okay, then the value will be 11.780. Okay, once we got this, it's not over yet. We have to find the volume. The volume will be equal to 11.780 multiplied by the length. So the length will be 12. But looking at this, the length is 12. So the area is 11.780. Okay, volume is basically the base area multiplied by the height of the length. Okay, so the answer for this question will be 141.360 dot dot dot, and estimated to CSF will be 141 cm3. Okay, so that will be for the volume. Okay, next we are supposed to find the angle of elevation of E from B. Okay, E from B. So which is right over here. Let's draw it out. E from B. Okay. So E is right here. Angle of elevation. So this is a bit 3D. So we have to draw a line underneath. And there's a vertical line. So it's a 3D shape that we are looking at. So it's not going to be very easy to visualize. So if I were to draw out E is over here, the top part, that's D below, and the B is right over here. So it's on the other side. So this is the E, G, and B. So we are supposed to find the angle of elevation from B. So basically, this is the angle that we are looking at. Okay. So what information do we have over here? So the angle that we have over here will be, this is 3. Okay. Then, okay, sorry. This is not, my bad. I got this wrong. Okay, this angle is because of the fact that this is slanted. Okay, I wasn't working very close. This is slanted. This is not 90 degrees. It's not a vertical line. So all we need to find is actually a perpendicular distance from here to here. So distance from here to here, then we connect. And then this will be the triangle. So I will let this point, which is perpendicular, this be probably N. So the triangle that we are looking at is not this, but this is N. And I erase it. Okay, so the information we have over here that we have is actually, in fact, we don't have anything. So that's why we need to find all the, at least 2 lengths to find the angle itself. So first thing is what we can find probably is this length, BE. Okay, how do we find BE? Okay, this length BE, over here, I need to redraw a triangle. So I redraw this triangle, sorry, rectangle over here. Okay, over here, B, E, F, and E. I need to find this length BE. Okay, how to find? Since we have the dimension is 12 and 8. And this is a rectangle, so therefore it's a right angle. So we can use Pythagoras theorem to find this value. Okay, so let me see how I can do this. I'm going to draw over here. Okay, so the first question is we need to find the length EB. So using Pythagoras theorem, as you can see that this is E, this is E. The Pythagoras theorem is 12 and 8. So it will be square root 12 square plus 8 square. That will give us 14.422. Always give 5 significant figures for intermediate questions. Something that I want to highlight even for your quiz, right? Some of you are giving just 3 significant figures for intermediate answer. So I want to remind, especially those who want to just want to score 8 or even as high as possible, right? Small little things like this will reduce the chances of getting an A1, especially. Okay, so just make sure that you give 5 significant for intermediate answer. Final answer that you know how to choose a quick. Okay, next thing that we need to find will be the perpendicular distance. Okay, so I'm going to look over here. Using this diagram, I want to find this particular, let me see if I can highlight. Oh, okay, this is not a highlighting function. Okay, so we need to find this particular height over here, which is the EM. We need to find this. So we have found this, which is 14.422. We have found this length already. We want to find this now. So how to find this length EM? Okay, so this is basically using this length that we have previously found. Just now we have found the area, right? Okay, this part is a bit hard. I'll just run. Previously, one of the questions we want to find the area of a triangle. Am I right? This is 8, this is 8, this is 3. We found the area of this particular triangle is 11.780 from here, from the previous part. 11.80 is the area of the triangle. So once you know the area of the triangle, we make use of this area of triangle information to find the height. How? Because area of a triangle is equal to half times base times height. Okay, since we have the area, we have the base, which is 8. The only thing that we don't know is the height. Okay, so a lot of times that we want to find the perpendicular distance, right, we make use of the area. So remember, take note, find perpendicular distance. You can write it down somewhere. Distance, or sometimes we call it the shortest distance. Use area formula. A lot of times when we want to solve this thing, perpendicular distance, shortest distance, we use the area formula. Because area formula will have half times base times height. And if we know the area, and usually we will know the base, then we can find the height. Okay, so from here, right, the base is 8. So height will be, okay, if we divide, it will be 2.945 here. Okay, so this is what we will get. So now we have the two legs. Okay, so I will draw the triangle again that we are supposed to find. Yeah. Let's draw. This is B, this is C, and this is so-called the N. Okay, and now it's a right angle triangle. The angle we want to find is this angle. Now we have the length 14.422. We have this height of 2.945. And we can use the Tuakas rule. Some of you might want to use sine rule. We can use sine rule because we have 90 degrees. Or if not, we can use just this Tuakas rule. So angle here, this is O. This length will be H. So O and H, we use sine, Tuakas and so. Sine theta equals to O over H. So theta equals to sine inverse. Our O and H will be 2.945 over 14.422. And the angle that's given will be 11.8 degrees with 1 decimal place. Rounding up to 1 decimal place. Okay. This is one of the harder questions. Anyone that will need to clarify or anything that's not too clear? Anyone? Okay. Okay, so okay, this is very hard to visualize. I want to repeat it again. So this is, if let's say for those who are not too sure of this, right, my advice is skip this, focus on other questions. You can come back at the last part if you still have some time to spare. All right. Okay, just to quick check, anyone got this correct? Oh, very good. Okay, you got that correct. Okay, let me just also do a quick check. This is question number 5. Question number 5. 5 is a question that is not very well done. It's between got, I think a few of you that come up. Only 2 of you, 15 and 90. And the rest, a few of you got 8. Quite about that 1 and 0. Okay, so now we'll learn from it, and hopefully the next time when we do this, you'll be better. Okay, so for part 2, we're going to continue to find the volume. Okay, so this volume question, you have to use, this is a hemisphere. So the volume of a sphere is given in the front of the exam paper. 4 over 3 pi r cubed, the sphere. So for hemisphere, so we just divide by 2. So half times of this. So this will be hemisphere. So that will give us 2/3 basically. So that will be the volume. Okay, so we have to find the volume. Okay, so this is the volume. And since this volume is same as the volume that's same as previous part, and we have found that the volume is 141.360. Take note, you are using the 5 significant figure. Don't use 141. Some of you fall into this trap, so you must use the more accurate value. Okay, so once you got this, you just equate the formula with that volume. All we need to do is just do that, and after that we can find the radius. So basically, 3 over 2 times 141.36, and after that divide by 5. Put it, and that will give you the answer, which is 4.0715. And it's round off with 4.07. That will be the answer. Right? Okay, so knowing this, right, I will be spending probably selecting a few more this similar kind of questions, which is talking about moving sine rule, cosine rule, and also the bearing angle of elevation. The 3D triple basically. Okay, moving on. Okay, question number 6. Okay, so this is a similar and congruency. If I look at the breakdown of question number 6, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 of you got 0 for that. Okay, so there's some names that is not surprised to see as well. Okay, so let's go through this. Some of you got full marks or 4 marks yourself, that's bear with me. Okay, so we are supposed to show that these two triangles are similar. So PQR is the big triangle, and of course PSQ, which is this small triangle over here. Okay, so to show similar, all we need to do is to show two angles the same. That's all we need. Okay, so we need to just focus on that. The first thing, I think the more obvious one would be definitely the right angle triangle. So basically angle PSQ is equal to angle PQR, which is equal to 90, which is given. In a way given. Okay, so this is the very first thing that at least you can find. Okay, then the second one would be, of course, the overlapping angle. If you look at these two triangles, both have this angle QPS. Excuse me, QPS equals to angle QPR. Common angle. Basically, they are overlapping now. Okay, for this PDF, I cannot use multicolor. I cannot use, because once I change the color, every color, all the thing will be changed. So I cannot use a different color to change. So just think of this angle that we are having here is the overlapping angle. Common angle. Okay. So once we got these two, then therefore we can prove it. So the statement that we need to write is triangle PSQ is similar. Please do not write the three strokes. Okay, to triangle PQR with the AA. Okay. So for those who didn't get it, just take note, make sure that you can score for the next time around. For those who have got this correct, well done. Because I think we have revised on this topic before. So okay, so let's find out what went wrong. Okay, so the next part, they are given some values. So we're going to solve it. Okay, so PQ equals to, in fact, even for those who didn't get A correct, right, don't leave it blank and give out the part B, because we already know that these two triangles, they are similar. So we write down side by side. Triangle PQR is similar to triangle PSQ. So we want to find SR. Okay, so SR is part of. So you can see that SR is not within the two triangles. It's actually part of the triangle. So we have to redraw it this manner. PQR this way. PQ and R. We draw it so that we can better visualize. P, S, and Q. Now the S is over here. The right angle. Okay. So potential PQ is 6 yen and PR is 12 yen. The PR is over here is 12 yen. So PQ is over here also is 6 yen over here. So now we have a pair. That's where we can actually connect. Okay, so once we have a pair, we can find the unknown. Because we have a value here 6, we can find this PS. Okay, so why is PS important? Because if you look back at the big diagram over here, SR is the one that we want to find, the question mark. But once we can find this PS, we can solve this SR. Because we have the big value of PR, we have this, the whole thing is 12. Okay, so 12 minus PS will give you the SR. So SR equals to PR minus PS. So we have this as 12 yen. This PR is 12. So we want to find what is PS. So how do we find the PS? So we have to use the ratio. So PS over 6 must be equal to 6 over 12. So PS divided by the corresponding length, which is 6, must be equal to 6. The small triangle divided by the 12. Okay, so therefore, with this information, so PS will be 6 over 12 times 6. That will give us equals to, okay, 36 is equal to 6. Okay, so now therefore, we plug this in. So SR will be 9. Okay, any questions for this part? Thank you. So no question, we're going to move on. Okay, so this is for section A done. So we're going to move on to section B. Okay, this is the part I have marked. Okay, for the whole level, 4 and 5. Okay, so question number 7, I'm going to just run through this part. A very quick one. I think generally some of you managed to get this, but some of you didn't get this because maybe too many words over here, can't quite understand what they're trying to say. Okay, so basically there are two parts here. One is a rectangle. If you cannot visualize, probably you can try to draw it out. So there's 4x here, there's a 2x here. So if you realize that the total parameter is actually equals to for 4 to 2, they will give you some x total parameter, because the length of the, use the wire to form up, we are using the parameter, which is the length. So therefore, for what's left of the square will be, because the total is 60, so 60 minus 12x will be what's left of the whole square. So that will be the whole length. We want to find one of the sides, which is the length. So we need to divide by 4. So when we divide by 4, that will give us 15 minus 3. Okay, so that's how we prove it. Okay, for the first part. And once we got this, we want to find the area. Okay, the area of the square. So since the length is 15 times 3x, all we need to do is to square it. Some of you expand it is fine. Okay, but all we need to do is to square the length. Okay, because one length is 16 minus 3x. So the whole idea here for this question is don't give up even your first part, you get it correct. Attend all questions. Okay, because sometimes you do not have the first part of the answer to solve the next one. Okay, next will be find the area of the rectangle form. Okay, for the area of rectangle, if you have sketched this out, 4x and the 2x, if you have gotten this 4x, all you need to do is 4x times square. And some of you did that, but you forget your square. For some reason, okay, quite a number of you could have strangely some other classes as well. 4x times 2x gives you 8x. So you must remember to multiply the x also. Okay. Okay. So now is the part that forming of equation. So they mentioned about area of the square, area of the rectangle. These two are equal. So basically 8x squared must be equal to your 15 minus 3x squared. So it's quite straightforward for this particular question. Let me just exit for a while because it's getting a bit laggy. Okay. So so once you got this, all we need to do is expand 8x squared. Then after that, when you expand this, it will be 22 65. 225 minus 90x plus 9x squared. Then after that, you just simplify and you get this equal to 0. So, okay, so this is this part. Solving of this equation. I want to repeat this. Please get these 3 marks for your whole level. It's the easiest, I would say, easiest 3 marks that you can ever get. Okay, how so? They give you the equation. All we need to do is follow the instructions and solve using the quadratic formula. What formula? Of course, easiest provided you can memorize this formula, which shouldn't be too hard. Minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so what is our a, b, and c? A is 1, which is the value in front of x squared. B is minus 90, which is your number in front of x. C is 225. So you need to start in the value. Okay, you need to place the value in. Okay, minus 90 bracket square minus 4a, which is 1 times 225 over 2a times 1. You have to type this, write this out. Then the next thing that you can do will be just in your calculator, mode 33. Okay, mode 33 in your calculator. And all you need to do is just that. Then you can find the 2 answers. But many of us got this problem that we round off to 3 significant figures. Okay, including many other from other classes also. Okay, please always refer back, check. Have I answered the question? Just before you place it down, place your answer into the blank itself. Okay, so just refer to that. Okay, so this is 2dp, 2dp. And of course, next will be, then we need to find the length of the square. Okay, the length of the square. Another thing I want to highlight is do not reject. Do not reject. Okay, any of the value yet. Okay, you only reject at the next part. You must give 2 answers. If anyone put a reject over there, marks will be deducted. So I want to highlight again. Do not reject at this stage. Okay. So so only when you go to part the next part, which in this case they are finding the length of the square. So the length of the square, the formula is basically 15 minus 2x. This is the length. And in this case, of course, we know that if you put in 87.43 inside this, you'll give a negative value. So then in this case, we have to reject here. Reject x equals to 87.43 because length cannot be 0. Cannot be negative rather. Cannot be negative. So therefore 15 minus 3x will be sub in the more accurate value, which is 57.36. Some of you got the marks deducted or didn't get the marks itself. It's because you start in 2.75, sorry, 2.57. This is wrong. If you sub this in, not accurate. You're going to affect your final answer. Okay, so for your final answer, it should be 7.2792 of the dot, and round off will be 7.28 pm. This significant figure. Okay. So this is something that I observed. All of you use the 2.75 instead of 2.57, 2.573. So, okay. Okay, so moving on. Question number 8. Okay, this is something that we have not really revised also. So the formula that you need to know really for this is the cone, the volume and the total surface area. For cone, the total surface area, the curved surface area actually is in front of the or the exam page itself, the first page itself, which is pi RL, which is the surface area. Okay, so the L itself is actually the slanted length. Okay, so some of you that when you try to attempt to do this, you did not use the correct L itself. Okay, so okay, let me go through this first part first. We are supposed to find the volume of the cone. Okay, some of you went to find the whole thing with volume of the cone. Okay, so the tricky part is this is a small traffic marker, consists of a cone and a solid cylinder face. So they only want the cone. Okay, so the cone that they wanted is not the whole cone itself, but the cone of this portion. Okay, I think some other classes also mistaken as the cone as a whole cone because we usually for P lesson we call this whole thing as a cone also. Okay, but the cone they wanted in this case is that top part. So how do we find the volume? So volume of a cone is just 1/3 pi r square. How do you remember? Volume of a cone is like this. It's very similar to volume of a cylinder. The difference between this cylinder and a cone is just that it's 1/3 of it. Just like a pyramid. This is 1/3. So if you remember that pi r square h is actually the volume of a cylinder. Okay, pi r square h is the base area times height. Base area is pi r square, and this is the height. The volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r square h. So all we need to do is we just type in the value. The radius is 9. And the height is 36. For some reason, some of you confused with the length. The height is 36. So you have to read and see carefully. So the volume will be of the three symmetrical figure. We always write more accurate value first before we round off. So it becomes this. Yes, sir. For those who give more accurate value, I still give you the mark. No problem. Okay, so this is the first question of this part. Okay, the second question will be one that is slightly harder. We want to find the total surface area. So I'm going to break it down for you. How do you find the total surface area? So it's two parts. The cone, which is the surface area. Okay, and of course, another one will be this part. And this is first part plus the second part, which I call the donut, plus the base, the bottom, which is a circle. So this is how we made it out of the total surface area. So you can see that. So I still have one more, which is the fourth one will be, of course, the curved surface, which is this portion. Right? Okay, so we have 4 components that we need to find. The first one will be the pi RL. This one will be the big circle, pi r square. Maybe I use the big R square minus the small circle pi r square. This one is actually over here, this portion. Okay, the base is quite straightforward. It's a big pi r square, which is the bottom part. And last but not least will be the side over there. So we need to break it down into these small parts so that we have a clearer idea what we are finding. So pi RL, first thing is we don't have the L yet. we need to find that first. So since the information given, we have the radius, which is 9, and the vertical height is 36. So we can use Pythagoras theorem. So 36 is here, 9 is here, we can find 1/6. So L will be equal to 36 squared plus 9 squared. So L will be, we keep it as this value first, so it will be more accurate. Square root 1377. Okay, so the curved surface area will be, so pi RL plus 9 times square root 1377. That will give us 1049.2. So this is the first part. Okay, second part. Okay, curved surface area of, no, maybe we will do this. So if I combine this all together, right, it's actually 2 pi r, the big R, minus away the 1 part. Okay, because there's a portion that is covered up by the cone. So we need to minus that away. So the big radius is 15. Minus away the small radius, which is 9. And this will give us 1159.247. More significant figure. And now, of course, the next part will be this, which is the curved surface area of a cylinder. Curved surface area of cylinder, if you open this up. Okay, curved surface area of a cylinder, the formula is something that people will tend to forget. Okay, so how it looks like, it will be 2 pi r h. Okay, that will be your area of the curved surface area of a cylinder. Okay, so why is that so? If you open this up, actually it's actually a rectangle. And this part is actually your 2 pi r, which is your circumference, and this is your height. Okay, so imagine using a paper, wrap it up in a cylinder. When you open up, right, it becomes a rectangle. So the radius for this particular curved surface area will be 15, and the height will be 6. And from here, we will get the 565.49. And finally, we just need to add everything up, and that will give us the answer. With all this combined, answer is 2773.937, and round off, we will give us 2774 EN squared. Of course, you can round off to 3 significant figure, 2770 as well. We'll give you the answer. Okay. I'll rather give you the mark. Okay, so this is question 8. Quite a number of you managed to get some marks. Only one student got 0. I think we left blank. Okay, so but no one managed to get. Let me see, anyone got. A few of you got 6 as well. Okay, so I'm looking at the time, so I don't want to overrun that. Do you have the next lesson to attend? No, right? This is the last one. Okay, so I might overrun a bit. For those who really need to go, you don't worry, you guys go ahead. I will send the video link and send it to you. But if you can stay, please stay with me also. Okay, question 9. Very badly done. Very badly done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of you got 0. I think no one gets 2 marks. No, one of you got 2 marks. I think the long gap over 6 marks over there. A few of you got 5. Okay, so let me just run through this. Okay, first thing we need to know about this type of question is first, equation of a line, right, is always is y equals to mx plus c. When we want to find the equation of a line, the 2 things we need to solve. Basically, we need to find m, and then after that we find c. So what's the m and the c? M is the gradient, and then don't get confused, c is actually the y-intercept. Okay, it's not the length, it's not anything else, but it's the y-intercept. Okay, so I want to highlight that one more time. Okay, so in this particular question, we want to find coordinates. Okay, so we want to find coordinates, and we are given the equation. So all we need to do is to substitute the value inside, because if you look at the question, we tell that the A and B meet the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So if you roughly draw it out, if that, let's say, assuming that this line will look like this. So this is the y-intercept, this is the x-intercept. This is your point A. This is where you touch the y-axis. This is your point B. So always good to sketch it out to visualize. Okay, you can draw a line roughly, you don't need to be very accurate. Okay, so you can draw these two lines. Okay, so you have to tell yourself, so what's so special about these 2 points? Okay, so they cut the axis. So always remember, when you cut the axis, something must be a 0. Okay, so something must be a 0. So when you cut the y-axis, x is 0. If you remember the curve sketching, we want to find the y-intercept, we sub x to 0. We want to find the y-intercept, sub x to 0. The same thing over here for the line. So x is 0. Then we want to find this y value. This is x over here, but y value is 0. So we know one of the equation, one of the coordinates. So all we need to do is just find A sub x equals to 0. Okay, so 2 times 0 plus y equals to 3. So I sub into the equation, so y equals to 3. So therefore A equals to 0, 3. To find B, we sub y equals to 0. Okay, then after that, the equation is 2x plus 0 equals to 3. So x equals to 3 over 2. So therefore C will be 3 over 2, 0. Okay, so that will be the answer. I think 1 or 2 of you got it mixed up, A and B. Okay, so that will be for your first part. When you want to find coordinates, okay, you have to understand the concept of this x and y axis, the meaning behind it. When you cut the axis, in this case, they say they meet the axis at this point. Meeting the axis means you cut the axis, like this is the y-intercept and the x-intercept. Okay. For the next part, now we want to find the equation of a line. So equation of a line, that's the part I mentioned just now. When you want to find equation of line, basically we want to find the m and the t. So in this particular question, they say that these 2 lines are parallel to one another. So it's basically the gradient is the same. Gradient shape. So how do we find the gradient of line 1? So line 1, this is the equation that's given. To find the gradient of this line, we have to rearrange into y equals to mx plus c format. So we have to form this. So all we need to do is we bring the 2x over. And there you go. We can, from this equation, we can tell that the gradient, hence the gradient of line 1 equals to -2. So that's the first part you need to know. By looking at the equation, we can actually find out what's the gradient. Very simply, straight away. You have to rearrange them into y equals to mx plus c. Okay? Okay. So once we got the gradient, we have the half the battle won because we only have one part. So the only thing that unknown for now will be the c. So once you got the c, so what other information given to us in the question? So you can see that there's a coordinate that's given. There's a point that's given. We have a -2, 0. So all we need to do is we sub in the x, sub in the y, to try to find the unknown c. So the y is 0, the x is -2, then the c will be, for some reason, some of you keep the answer as 4, as -4, which is not correct. So now we found the c. So once we got the m and the c, we subtract in the equation. So the equation will be y equals to minus 2x plus 4. Answer. Okay. So that could be the way to solve the y equals to mx plus c question. Always find the answer. Yes. You have any mistake?
I think it's -4.
Okay, let's see. Did I need oh yes. Oh, that's true, right? Yeah, I do. Is that true? Okay, I think it's a good way to check whether people are listening. Thank you so much. Very fast in responding, and I'm very glad to that people responding and this one, right? Thank you. Okay, so it's -4. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, so this is the question for this part. Okay, for part 9C, area of a triangle. So area of triangle, always remember when we talk about area of triangle, there are two things. We can use half AB sine T, or we can use half sum base sum phi. Right? But this one we need an angle. Of course, we don't have any angle in this question. We only have coordinates. That means when we have coordinates, this is A, this is B, and C we are given with this -2, and the C is here. So when I saw many of them students, not just from our class, from other classes, when they sketch out the graph, the triangle looks totally off. So you must at least sketch out and have an idea. -2, 0 equals something like this. It's on the same line over here. Okay, because it's -2, 0, and B we have found out is 3/2, 0, and this is actually 3, 0. 0, 3 rather. Okay, so once you got this, you know that to find the area of triangle, we just use the base and the height. So all we need to do is to find this base and the height over here, which is this. So we are using this. So area equals to half times base, which is for -2 here, this is 2 units. This is 1.5 units. So total is 3.5 units. This is the base. And the height over here is because the coordinate is 0, 3. So therefore is 3 units. So the total value will be 5.25. Okay. So that will be the area of the triangle. Okay, so 5. So this is the coordinate geometry question that I definitely will come back again. And definitely in the exam paper that I've given you all at homework, there's some questions on it as well. So please make sure that you can try to get this right next time around. Okay, question number 10. I might put the last 2 questions online on my YouTube. Okay, so that I really don't think that you, by sitting too long in front of the screen might not be very effective also. So I might intend to cut off after this question number 10. Okay. So okay, so for this question, let me just take a look at the score. Okay, question 10. Okay, a few of you got 0, and the total mark is 8 marks. I need 1 or 2 of you, or 3 of you got it 4 marks. Okay, so let's run through this as quick one. This is a 3D figure. These 3 points A, B, and D, so A, C, and D, this is flat on the ground. And this D point over here is in the air, in the sort of in the air, because it is a pole over here. Okay, so for some of you, I think you all mistaken as if everything is flat on the ground. It's not 2D. In fact, it's not. It's a 3D, so it's a vertical pole. Okay, and ACD is a horizontal ground. So this is the indication how you know this is a 3D. Right. So for the first part, okay, AB, we are supposed to find the length AD. This AD is a Pythagoras theorem. Okay, why using Pythagoras theorem? Okay, so AD, we are using this particular triangle. We are using this particular triangle that is standing up here, A, B, and C. Okay, so this is 36, and this distance is 30. and we want to find the length of AD. So Pythagoras theorem quite straightforward. AD will be equal to square root 36 square minus 30 square. Okay, so I think few of you didn't get this. Few of you get 0 marks for this question. For some reason, I think some of you got it plus. I think maybe some of you left it blank. This will be 19.9. Okay, so you should circle this one. Okay, for Pythagoras theorem question. Okay, so the next part, okay, you see 3 marks, a good chance that it's sine rule or cosine rule. This is one method that you can look at. When you look at the score, right, you can guess, okay, which method you're going to use. So CBA. So let's take a look at CBA. Okay, so it's a flat ground triangle. Okay, some of you, in fact, quite a number of you assume that this this is a right angle triangle, which is not. So I want to repeat this again. Okay, over here, the two sides, this is right angle, this is right angle, but doesn't mean that this angle CAD, this is also right angle. I think this is the killer part where many of us assume that it's right angle and therefore we went into the wrong path. I got the question wrong. So looking at this, how do we solve this? So let's fill up the information. Always have a sketch. Sketch it up. Okay, so that you have a clearer idea. So what are we looking at? So just now we also have found the length AD, which is square root 396. Make use of the previous answer. Put down the information. You can clearly see that we have a pair. Okay, we have a pair. We want to find the angle CDA, which is this. This is the question mark. That's nice. Very nicely fitting. So we use sine rule. So when you use sine rule, we try to put the unknown on top. Sine angle CDA over 15. That's a pair. Equals to sine with 35 over square root 396. Okay, so then from here we can really go forward. The angle CGA would be equal to inverse the whole thing, which is sine 35 over square root 396 times 50. Okay, then that will give us the answer. CGA will be rounding off. We always write down the more accurate answer first before we round off, just in case we need it afterwards. Okay, so always write down this first. Okay, 5 FL. Okay, before you round off the final answer. Okay, so this is for part B. Okay, moving on. 20. We are supposed to, again, once again, we are going to find the area. Okay, this question we are finding the area of ACB. The same triangle that we're looking at. So I will draw the triangle again. So back to the point, area of triangle, there's only two formula. Half AB sine C or half some big some height. So in this question is quite clear cut, we're going to use the first one. Half AB sine C. Okay, because we don't have a perpendicular height over here. So now let's take a look at the information that we have. And now we have also the angle that we have found over here, which is 35.617. So how do we apply the area of triangle? To find the area of triangle, to apply this formula, AB, remember the two lengths and the angle in the middle. So it's runs in this manner. ABC. Two lengths and one length in the middle. Sorry, two lengths and one angle in the middle. So in this particular case, we have these two lengths and we don't have this angle here. Okay, so while we have this angle, but we don't have this length. So we have to do additional steps. If you want to apply, the easiest one would be this, to find this length, this angle first. So some of you made the mistake by using other angles. So we need to find the angle between the two lengths. So how to find the angle? Basically using the area in the triangle, 180 minus 35, minus 35.617. that will give you the angle, which is 119.386. So with this angle here, connected to here all the way in, now we can apply our half AB sine theta. So half A will be 15, B will be 396, sine 119.382. Okay, so this will be your area. And then once you press the calculator, it will give you 120.05. Once again, 5 significant figure. Then round off to the final answer, which is 130 PSM. Okay, so this is the area of the triangle. Okay, so last question, last part is quite hard to explain because I'm able to visualize, but I will try. Okay, so bearing of C from D. So let's go back to this diagram first. I will erase everything else. Okay, so angle from the bearing of C from D. So from D, okay, we have to start by drawing the north line at D first. This is the first step, step number 1. Okay, from D means north line at D. So you need to draw a north line at D. And because the 2 points that is making is C and D, right? Bearing of C from D. So this is the line that we are supposed to touch. So the bearing to be starting from the north line, clockwise direction, until it touches this particular point. This is the angle or the angle that we're supposed to find, the bearing we're supposed to find. Okay, so this is the one. The common mistake is people try to find what is this angle over here, which is the 3D standing up angle. This is not the case. Okay, so what we're supposed to find is one way that we can think of is there's 2 ways. Okay, one is we can find what is this angle, and this angle is 360 minus this angle, which is I will call this as x. So how do you find this x angle? This x angle is made of this is A angle and angle B. Okay, so therefore we need to find these two. In fact, we have the A. The thing that we are lacking is the B. B is question mark. So how do we find the angle B itself? I think this is something that is important. The clue that I think some of you have listed out. A is due north of C. Do you see this question over here? A is due north of C. So if you, what does that mean is, in fact, this line is our north line as well. That means this line is parallel to this line. And when these two lines are parallel to one another, this angle, I'm shading here the angle A at this line, point A over here, will be same as your B. Let me erase off the red. So I want to repeat that again. Because since these two lines are parallel to one another, in fact, this is the optimal angle. Can I see the optimal angle here? So this angle A, so-called angle A, is equal to your angle B. And which is equal to 1, let me get that value. We found it just now, right? 119. 119.383. So this is the angle that we have found previously. Okay. So once we got this, and we have this angle, I call it C, maybe angle C. We also found in part, which part is that? Part B. We also found that the angle is that. Okay, which is 25.617. So we have this angle. So we have angle C, we have angle B. So all we need to do is 360 minus this angle C minus this angle B. Then that will give us the answer. Okay, so I'm going to just write down the working itself. Okay, so the bearing. Okay, so 360 minus 119.383 minus a further 25.617. That will give us 215 degrees. Another solution that I want to present to you all will be this. I'm going to erase this portion. Okay. Okay, another solution that you can think of, in fact, is even slightly faster. First one, we know that the bearing we want to find is this bearing, right? This is the line. In fact, if you can find this angle, let me label this as angle Q. Like this. All we need to do is just use 180 plus Q. That will give us a bearing because this part is 180. 180 is the line plus the Q, which is this portion. That will give us the bearing. So once again, if you can see clearly because of the parallel line, this is alternate angle one more time. So this 35 degrees equals to Q. Can you see the alternate line? I will erase everything. Erase. So the alternate line, this angle. So this angle 35 equals to angle this is 35. So it's very powerful that I want to highlight one more time. Look out for clues, something like this. Due north, due west, due east, due south, whichever that is in the question for bearing question. If you can capture that information, you're going to be very great, helpful to solve. Sometimes it's necessary to take note of that information to solve your question. So in this particular case, due north, that means two parallel lines, and therefore we can use the alternate angle or sum of interior angle or whatsoever that you can use to solve this particular question. Okay, so I just want to bring this out. Will be another alternative will be just 180 plus 35. That will give you 125. You must write down the angle, written alternate angle. This one you must write down as angle at a point. Okay, as a reason. Both answers are correct. All right. Okay, so I overrun quite a fair bit. Immediately I will have actually the same worry. So I will going to do separately for question 11, which is cumulative frequency, and also the last question, which is talking about the credit card. Okay, because I think you guys have been sitting in front for 1+ hours, almost 2. So you need some stretching as well. So I'm going to do it in the afternoon. Okay, then after that, I'll let you all know once the video is uploaded. Okay, so any particular question you want to check in with me? Any concern, any other thing or homework? I think previously you guys have done well in scanning into PDF and upload. I want to highlight that I have finished marking for those who have submitted. Please go in and take a look at my marking. I indicated all the careless mistakes. Okay, so maybe I'll take this chance to. Okay, I'll stop share for this part first. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to just go into this part. Let me just screen share. That's the last one also. So just for holding you guys up. Let's see this. Okay, good part. Let's see. Okay, great. Okay, so this is the place that you're going to submit your new homework, the latest homework. So this is quiz 1. When I finish marking, I will indicate inside the folder as marked. I'll rename your, what is this? Okay, yeah, over here. So you can see from the screen, right, whatever I mark, I'll put as mark in front. Then over here, they will indicate all the marking. I'll just use insurance one to as an example. So all the marking will come up. Okay, so in fact, the common mistake that many people make is this question, the fraction. Go in and take a look. When you flip the sign, sometimes you make a mistake. Okay, you need to flip the whole thing properly. Okay, then you can look at my video for the solution. Okay, so this so I've given a lot of comments lah. Okay, so please go and check it out, and any part of it that you are not too clear, you can let me know. Okay, any questions for that? All good. Okay, I will not hold you back for your lunch time, so please take care in the meantime. I will look at the Padlet for those who are not done, and you continue to write your Padlet. Okay, so that I can respond to that lah. Okay, any question? All good. Okay, take care everyone. So for those going for vaccination, please take care. If you need more time to complete your homework for some reason, your vaccination is affecting you because of a side effect like the fever and whatsoever, you let me know so that I can know that you're not coming for the next session for to join us, and then we can find an alternative for the arrangement for 8 of 2. Okay. Okay, so with that, I think I hope you have a good session today and have a good day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care. I'll upload the video. Bye. Hi, Drew. Are you there?